Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Masters of Assetto Corsa Competizione Season 4, sponsored by SimGrid Racing and hosted by Formula Racing League. Today we are at Zolder racetrack in Belgium. It looks a bit gray and rainy. Let me see if I can get a better view for you. Maybe in the helicam, yeah, but not really visible. I'm very happy to be welcome. I'm very happy to be back with you. My God, this stream really starts well. Very happy to be back with you today because for the past 2 weeks I had to work on a Thursday evening, so I couldn't do the broadcast before we go into the qualifying session. So technically I think we're still in the we're in overtime of the training session already, of the practice session already. And in a few seconds we are going to take a look at the standing, but for now let's go back to the garage and also take a look at the temperature. We have a track temperature of 22 degrees today, and we have an outside temperature of 17 degrees. And for now it looks like it is going to be cloudy, but as we've seen, I think it was in Kyalami, I believe it was the first race of the season, that the weather might still change during the between the qualifying and the racing session. Without further ado, it's something I picked up from YouTube. Without further ado, let's actually start some further ado and take a look at the standings. So here we are. You can see the standings already. I cannot see the standing. So at the moment in P1 for the pro drivers, we have Ivanov. Behind him in P2 we have Veldman. In P3 we have Casetarash. Activate the chat in case any of you want to comment. Always feel free to write me something in the chat. Maybe I will also tone down the sound of the cars a little bit for now, because it seems to be very loud. In P4 we have Paul Whitburn. Then we have P5 Shubamoy Biswas. P6 Patrick Bisters. Capimate in P7, Andrea Panosha in P8, and then Pierre Meyer in P9, Davy Hill P10 at the moment with 15 penalty points here. And then we have Stu Rogers in P11 that withdrew from the race. Eric so I don't have to mention him. Then we have Griffith in P12, then another one, Knopek, also withdrew from the season. Stuart Pryor in P14, then we have Matt Whitburn, who I believe changed car. It says it here now. Yeah, exactly, 174 points were removed due to the car change, so 74, he would be in P2 if he wouldn't have changed the car. So for the M drivers that are qualifying in the background, we have Nicolas Muja in P1. Interestingly, with exactly the same amount of points than Ivanov. Yeah, Ivanov. Actually, I think that makes sense. I'm not so sure. Federico Pacini in P2 also withdrew from the race. Unfortunately, Vincenzo Conti in P3, Simon Bragg in P4, Alfonso Migliore in P5, Carmelo Scavalieri in P6, Hanno Reimann in P7, and we have Antonino Castelli in P8, Dario Brames in P9, Jake Deschamps in P10, Peter Davidson P11, Calvin Burke in 12, Daryl Cole in P13, Andrea Cimini in P14, also with probably the highest standing on penalty points in the M drivers. Borna in P15, Messina in P17, and Van de Kamp in. And we have two more drivers here. Cataldo, who also changed his car in P21, and P22 is Jarno Coupiers. Now let me just figure something out. I'll have to reduce the game volume for myself a little bit, because otherwise I cannot hear myself speaking. So like this is better. I can hear myself better. Wonderful. And now I will raise the game volume for you again a little bit. There we are. Got to change the scene because I already had this once. I am going to close this in the background, and we're gonna take a look at Castelli, who just qualified and is in P1 with a 1 minute 28.1. So the game audio is still a bit too quiet. So there we are. To be fair, it's not an excuse. No, it is an excuse. I did not have much time to settle into this game today. So there's still one more thing missing, and this is the broadcast view. Wonderful, there we are. So it looks like Castelli is currently the quickest driver with a 1 minute 28.1. That is already a 102% lap. Just for comparison, the alien time slash the top car average seems to be a 1 minute 28 at 1 minute 26. So roughly 1.5 seconds quicker. 126.7 is the current top 8 car average. In P2, currently we have Smuja. Behind him we have Simon Bragg. Smuja again with a Red Bull livery. And I think I mentioned it every time, but it looks a bit like the livery that Max Verstappen had when he was driving the Nordschleife. So I'm quite certain that is the intention, to be honest. So Simon Bragg in P3. Currently also coming up to the end of the start-finish line, but with no improvement, roughly 1/10 of a negative time. So Conti looks like he might still be improving. It looks to me that also something went wrong with the livery synchronization, to be honest. At least for some people, I don't have them showing the special livery, even though I could check Conti. Then there's Mini behind, who has the same livery. I think they're also Team Soto Sterzo. They seem to be the same team, so it's not a livery issue, it is a commentator's issue. They have the same livery because they are in the same team. So Conti in P3. Then where do I still have some more improvement? Yeah, Kouwenberg also coming up to the start-finish line into the last two corners. And the Belgians seem to have some similar, very funny similar names to the Dutch. Like last corner is the Jackie X-Box, which is a bit funny to pronounce for me. And then we have Pavlovic here. So roughly half a second of improvement. Oh, no, it looks like more like 1 second of improvement. That could already put him into P10 if he manages to get this through properly. Yeah, that is P10 for Pavlovic. About 3 more minutes of qualifying. Dario Brames also looking for roughly half a second here. With half a second of improvement, he will be in P3 or 4, depending on when he is going to cross the line, and that is, wow, that is P1 for Brames. I don't know how much time he gained there on the on the last straight and the last corner, but it was significant enough to jump into P1. Dario Brames, usually one of the mid-pack drivers, if I see that correctly here. I see that correctly. I mean, to see it correctly, I would have to find the right sheet. Yeah, P5 in the last race, P17 in race 2, and P8 in race 1, so surprising. A bit surprising to me, at least, to see him in P1 right now. Hey there, JR. Who are you trying to follow? Raymond, you say? Okay, Raymond is here. Raymond is in the pits already. And also has set a lap time of 1 minute 30, so P9 is standing at the moment. Muja is still looking good for P1. That is actually quite important here. Now 2/10 would still be enough. It would be enough, yes. And that is P1 for Muja with a 1:27.985. And I think that is now almost the end of the... Oh, there's one more lap possible for some of the drivers, but it's almost the end of the qualifying session for the M drivers. In case I haven't mentioned it yet, the M drivers and the Pro drivers will be driving on the same track, but with different scoring and different races. Oh, it's the same race, but they're not actually racing each other, the M drivers and the Pro drivers. Ellie could also still be on a valid lap here, but is now at the moment losing some time coming over Buta. However you call this corner, T6, T6 Buta. Now, but actually Dario Brames might be further. Let's take a look at Castelli first. Dario Brames just had a little accident there. That's standing around there. Oh, that was Davidson. So also for Castelli, it doesn't look like an improvement here. So I think we should have the AM drivers, the Pro drivers hitting out. The Pro drivers are hitting out on track, heading out. They are heading out on track, guys. Number 99 is Derek Cole. That is still one of the AM drivers out. Castelli also still on track, surprisingly. Not 100% sure when he crossed the finish line, but now it looks like he invalidated his lap. Yeah. Ball still coming to an end, and still has 3/10 of improvement, so that would at least... No. There goes the improvement, so no improvement for Cole. And he also stops driving now. Okay, I see. So let's find out which of the drivers has the highest chance for the first valid lap. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 drivers out on track, and we have some yellow flags here. Oh, okay, they're just queuing up to get a clean start on their first lap. It looks like Matt Whitburn, who unfortunately either hasn't updated his livery or something like that after the car change, but that should be the Rainbow Sparkles Racing driver that usually had this wonderful unicorn on the side, but this is something that maybe he will correct for the next race. Whitburn, who would be in P2 of the season if he wouldn't have changed car, but I think there is a valid reason to why he changed the car, so maybe just for fun. I mean, it just cost him 174 points or something like this, so there must be a valid reason for that. But as far as I can see, he will be the first driver to set a lap for the pro drivers. Yeah, and that is a 1 minute 27.757, and behind him Davy Hill with a 1 minute 27.707, so off. What is it? Half a tenth. Exactly half a tenth quicker than Whitburn on the first lap. And also, just for comparison, that is basically calculating from the top 8 car average. That would be a 101% time. So there is some very competitive racing on FRL. So another driver that I'm... Wow, what happened to the camera there? Another very competitive driver that I'm looking out for now is the lap time of Ivanov. Hey Daniel. Panosha currently in P7 with a 1 minute 28.4. Yeah, let's stay with Ivanov for a second because I want to see his lap time. Yeah, and that is a 1 minute 26.892 for Ivanov. So Ivanov taking P1 with almost half a second of a gap to the front, so... That was a very quick lap, so... Excuse my French, English, Panosha. Yeah, Panosha also looking good with 4/10 of improvement at the moment. But it is usually and they call it the kleine Schikane, so the small chicane. That is a bit difficult on this track because you need to set up the car properly to not jump too much and lose the car there. I assume that we will see it a couple of times today. But if the suspension is too stiff and the ride height too low, etc., you tend to jump a little bit there. Panosha now with almost a 7/10 of improvement. If I can give you the... Sorry. There you can see the improvement, but it's not really feasible to have it like that because then you... Yeah, that is P3 for Panosha. So also Griffith in 15 now, and Pryor in P14. And we have Biswas here. Currently P23, but I still think that there's some improvement possible. Daniel, so you're basically Panosha is your teacher, your driving teacher. Also Veltman in P9. Oi. So I assume that was, let me just, what happened there? I assume that was what I described before, that the car sometimes tends to bounce a lot. So maybe I jinxed it. I'm sorry, Nico Veltman, that I might have jinxed your spin there. Good Pryor. Still with a possible, maybe let's go to Bisters first. Yeah, Daniel, sometimes it takes a lot of patience, that's true. Yeah, for Patrick Bisters, it does not look like you can actually get it done. That is a 4 places of improvement, but still P20. Also Biswas struggling a little bit today. So we see quite some, you can see it on the left side of your screen, so we see quite some spread in between the white and the red number plates. So Veltman, Pryor, Griffith and Bisters and Biswas are a little bit spread out in between the pro drivers, whereas Ivanov in the front still, see that correctly? No, not improve his first lap time, but Ivanov in P1, Matt Whitburn in P2, Davy Hill in P3, Panosha now in P4, so he'll still gained another position. And we have Paul Whitburn, who, as far as I understood, is the father of Matt Whitburn. I hope I understood that correctly. But now at least they were driving different cars before already. So, but what we know is that Paul Whitburn is driving the McLaren and Matt Whitburn is driving the Porsche. Let's take a look at Biswas. Also coming in with a bit of an improvement of time, but still that might put him into P20 behind Bisters. Yeah, that is Biswas behind Bisters. The two BB Bisters and Biswas currently P20 and P21. Oh, Whitburn. Paul Whitburn lost his improvement, his possible time improvement on the last meters of this lap. So maybe I point out some things that might be interesting on this track in the meantime while we look at Biswas. So coming over this crest here, this braking zone into the second chicane is a bit difficult, and also the track limit in the second corner that you just saw Biswas passing might be a bit of an issue during the race. Also here on the exit of the curve, you need to watch out. That is the exit of the Terlamen-bocht. That the car sometimes tends to be carried to the outside a little bit too much, and in the moment that your rear wheels touch the grass, you go for a little spin. Yeah, also in the last two corners, sometimes it's better to sacrifice the entry into this last little chicane thingy there. The braking zone into turn 1. Maybe let's see if we find someone that is still driving there. Whitburn is going to come up in a few seconds. So what I'm talking about, maybe let's actually jump into the oh, it's not. Sorry, that was too late. It's this camera, no? Yeah, okay. Just so for the next time, I will find the right camera quicker. It's something that I can also tell you during the race. But the braking zone into T1 is a bit tricky because there is no very clear reference for it. Whitburn here also aborting his attempt. Davy Hill also looks to be off and will probably reset, or as I know him, he might actually practice the pit entrance. So Ivanov now also aborting the race. Biswas is still, let's take a look at Biswas because he still has an improvement of 1/10. And yeah, that gains him one more position. So actually the two Bister and Biswas have been separated by two AM drivers again in the standings. And in a few seconds, the server will reset to the race conditions. Now there has not been any changes in the weather, so and also now it doesn't look like in this 1 hour race with one pit stop we will have a weather change, at least in the first half. A sip of water. So the qualifying is over, the race will start in 2 minutes and we are going to take a little look at the positions here on the grid. First of all, let's try if we find a nice perspective. We usually don't. from my experience, Assetto Corsa Competizione does not really provide a good view, but we have the red car on the inside line for the first, that's the inside line for the first corner. We have Ivanov on the left side in the black Porsche. We have Matt Whitburn. Then we have Davy Hill behind him. That is the Formula Racing League. Maybe it's better to understand it like this. So P3 is in the left column. Davy Hill is the car in with the Formula Racing League livery. Then we have Panosha in the right column, the blue car there, P4. Then we have Nico Veltman, the black and red Audi, in P5. Then we have Paul Whitburn, the second black car that you see in the right column there. And we have P7 Smuja, which is also the first starting position of the AM drivers. Then we have Dario Brems in the right column, the pink, white and azure blue, light blue BMW. Behind him in the left column we have Castelli, the red and blue BMW. Then we have Peter Davidson, the orange-white McLaren in the right column. Then we have Stuart Pryor, the only Bentley on track, the green car in the left column. Simon Bragg in P12, Vincenzo Conti in P13, and the Nissan of Tony Segota from Croatia, if I identify the flag properly. That is the grey car in the right column, I'm sorry. Then we have Griffith, the only Lamborghini on track in P15. Then Andrea Cimini, one of 3 Team Soto Sterzo drivers that I have spotted on the track at the moment. Bisters in P17, Rayman the Ford in P18, Scavalieri in P19, Supermoy Biswas, the green, white, orange car in the right column in P20. Then we have Mirinko Pavlovic in P21, P22 we have Covenwerk, that is the blue BMW there. Daryl Cole in P23, Jason Yanis in P25, Kupiers in P25, Naden in P26, Van de Kamp almost in the last position, and then we have Giuseppe Messina. Who I don't know if he is starting in the back because he had a qualifying ban or because that was actually the qualifying result. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready for the start of the race. That is race number 5 of Masters of Assetto Corsa Competizione, sponsored by SimGrid Racing and hosted by Formula Racing League on SimGrid. If you feel like joining any of the races, feel free to head over to SimGrid and join Formula Racing League. There is a multitude of other races and also some other simulators as well. Forgot something important that little screenshot of the starting positions. Well, taking a screenshot with my phone is probably the most advanced thing one can do. So just to recapitulate, Smuja is P1 for the M drivers, Brems P2 and Castelli is P3 for the M drivers. At the moment in the front we have Ivanov, Whitburn, Hill and Panosha. Let me know if the game audio or the car audio is too high for you. And we are heading on the straight, and in a few seconds we will start the race. 1 hour of racing action with a mandatory pit stop, hosted by Formula Racing League, sponsored by SimGrid Racing, and we are ready to start now. And we can see Ivanov obviously defending the inside on corner 1. In the back there is a bit of a shambles. Well, that seems to be Whitburn and Hill off into the gravel. Loads of yellow flags in the back also, mainly the M drivers. No. So again, a lot of position changes in the backfield, and I was not quick enough to find out what happened there, unfortunately. But what I can see is Ivanov, Whitburn, Biswas, Hill and Griffith, all 4 drivers are all the way in the end of the pack. This is bound to get interesting. Panosha now in P3, Paul Whitburn in P2, and Ivanov still in P1. Alright, so what? Yeah, this was... I saw Hill and the other Whitburn here in the Porsche collide. Hill now in the pits and Whitburn still driving, but in P24. Let's take a look here at Veldman, who has Muja in front of him. So as far as I can see, no changes in the M drivers. Yeah, Matt Whitburn in the Porsche is now also coming into the pits. So probably some repairs are necessary. But it's frustrating, really, after the first corner already. Some stress and contact here. Panoshek not able to close the gap to Whitburn just yet, but maybe now after the little bump here into the second chicane. Ivanov already with a 3 seconds gap ahead. Barely. Let's see if Beltman manages to snatch the position from Smuja this time around. In just a few seconds I will also take a look at the statistics and I will see who lost the most positions. Simon Bragg also behind Davidson here, but that does not look like a dangerous gap to me. Now coming up into turn number 4, one of the corners that is a bit difficult sometimes to carry the momentum and not get into the gravel on the outside, but manages well. And now maybe before the chicane there is a chance. Does not look like it. The kleine Schikane here. So while you follow on screen, Castelli off. Castelli off here. Let's go back and see what happened there. Trying to get on the outside, overtaking side by side into the chicane, and then a little tap on the back and straight into the barrier. That is probably gonna be some difficult repairs for Castelli. Yeah, and he's in the pit also. Behind him there's another wrecked car. So for the statistics, Paul Whitburn with 4 positions gained, probably the person that profited the most from this crash in the beginning of the race. Yeah, Matt Whitburn from P2 into P24 at the moment, 22 lost positions. And actually I thought he repaired his car in the pits, but it looks a bit scraped on the outside. But yeah, also he has flying over the curbs there in the chicane. Already both of the, how you call them, both of the cones gone. But Whitburn now with a clear track in front of him, so could be interesting. Pit stop done. Roughly 55 minutes of driving to go. So then, yeah, probably, yeah, Whitburn with most positions lost. 22 positions lost. Davy Hill has left the server. I don't want to say rage quit, but after a crash, that is an assumption that one can make. Let's say it like that. Those Cavalieri also gained 9 positions. Giannis and Kupiers were also battling for position on track right now. That's Kupiers here in the BMW. Beltman, by the way, managed to pass Dario Brems now, and Smuja also. Not sure who Beltman had in front of him. Raymond here not really with a lot of clean air in front of him. Also, I just checked the BOP, so the Ford is driving with a restrictor of 20 on Zolder. That just as a side note. Gonna take a look at if Pryor here in the Bentley, no? Yeah, the green Bentley there manages to pass by Scavalieri. It kind of looks like Simon Bragg in the front is... Well, he's probably not really holding up this train, but Bisters and Pryor here, both of the pro drivers stuck a little bit in between the AM drivers. Maybe we can take a little look at the passenger seat here, just to show also this braking zone into turn 1 as well. Very difficult to find the proper reference here. Cavalieri significantly better on the brakes here, but not hitting the apex properly here. Though might well be that Pryor will try and overtake here in front. No. That he tries? No, he won't. That is way too far. Yeah, but the Bentley... Actually, I think the Bentley and the BMW, both of them are very solid over the curbs. Here on the second corner there. I guess we will see some drive-throughs in this next 50 minutes of racing that are left. Maybe let's jump one car back to Bisters. Oh, that's Bisters in the BMW. Hey, who's standing on the side there? Oh, that's a distraction. That looked very much like a distraction for Bisters. I would have also been distracted like that. I mean, I was distracted watching this. Who's standing there? And then immediately Bisters also missed the braking point. There was a bit of a consolation there. Pavlovic with a yellow flag, but nothing special happening. Yeah, so this group between Simon Bragg, Conti, Scavalieri and Pryor is opening up a little bit at the moment. Scavalieri managed to open double the gap to the back. Pryor now also with a lot of curb there. And that is Pryor, and who was the second driver there? Let me just rewind this. That's the BMW, that's Coupiers. Yeah, that's Coupiers, and I don't know where he got the speed from to so Pryor now also still standing there. I don't know what happened there. It almost looked like technical something. Van der Kamp here. Front back in the sandwich there. Yeah, Pryor is still standing here. To be fair, that to me looks a bit like a technical issue and not so much like a crash frustration issue. That also might have been the reason why he got so slow and then got pushed off track into the barrier. So just an update. So in front we have Ivanov already with 6.3 seconds of a lead. Then we have Paul Whitburn with 3 seconds. Then Nico Veltman, who's rapidly catching up to Whitburn. Then the current leader of the AM drivers is Dario Brems. And Nikolai Smuja in P2 right behind him. So that's the battle for P1 in the AM drivers. We're just going to stay here for a second. Yeah, and you can see on the right side on the track map, you can see that the number 11 still sitting there. Good prior. It also looks like the other Whitburn left the server. At least I cannot find him here anymore. Last time I saw him was in P24 after the pit stop, but maybe he decided it is not worth driving with a Porsche now. Oh, that was... Uja, that was close. That was very close. So I think we are going to jump into the car with Smuja. Gonna lower the volume a little bit for you. Yeah, also Brahms, they're not really hitting the apex again. Maybe I'm not up to date with my line, but usually you try to hit the apex of the corner there. Now into this hard braking zone before the kleine chicane over the bumpy curbs here. Now as the cones are gone there, it might also be difficult to judge the track limits here. Very late on the brakes, Moja here. Now into turn 8, also here, sometimes very difficult to get the car to rotate around. Now into the next hard braking zone. Hi, Gregory. Generally, Smuja surprisingly late on the brakes, but that might be just my feeling, or because I'm not watching this on the triple screen right now. Let's take another look at Brahms' line here. It's also one of these, again, he's very outside, very much outside, but it's also one of these corners that there are a lot of different lines that are possible to take. On the gravel here. Both of them bumping a little bit over the curbs. Now let's see what Veltman is up to. Veltman hunting down Whitburn. Whitburn, who, as far as I remembered, also was in P2 for quite a while, so Panosha gained the position there as well. Let's go with Veltman for a little bit. But from the corner of my eyes, I'm still having a look at the battle between P2 and P1 of the M drivers. So in case something happens there, I will keep you updated. It also looks like Whitburn might be under pressure a little bit there. If you see this Audi driven by Veltman behind you, that can... Oh, yeah, that can unsettle you a little bit. Sorry, that was... I mean, it's interesting. It's my job as a commentator to comment, but I have the feeling I jinxed multiple things already today. Oh, I shouldn't have said anything about the focus there. So Whitburn now down 2 positions into P6, and Brems and Smuja, the leaders of the M drivers, also passed through them. Yeah, also there, that's a lot of pressure. Ah. Now I feel bad about jinxing it. Yeah. Let's stay with Smuja here. It's very close, but it's not enough to. It's not enough to attack already. Sorry, I forgot to raise the car volume. What do you mean by commentary cursing? You mean the curse of the commentator or a cursing commentator? Visva's also gained the position now. Paul Whitburn is in the pit. Yeah, well, I mean, that was not really surprising, considering how much damage the car took. Raymond here. Raymond, the Ford. Looked like he was about to gain a position before the chicane, but actually that didn't happen. And we're back with Smuja. I was about to say it was just a matter. It will just be a matter of time until Smuja passes, but yeah, already showing himself in the mirror there a little bit, but that was not enough to distract him. So in the front in P1, Ivanov is roughly 1 second quicker every lap. So now the gap towards P2 is 11 seconds already. 7 seconds behind P2 is Veldman in P3, sorry. I would absolutely be up to a multi-class race, especially with the GT4s, because I just love driving them. The Ginetta, well, it is a fun car for sure. But I never really enjoyed racing it. Wow, what a beautiful camera perspective from ACC there. We're just seeing nothing. And that is Messina pushing off Biswas. There's something strange going on in the last races. There were some incidents. I guess it's the outside temperature. It's just getting too cold, and people are getting. They need to find their inner heat on the racetrack. But actually, maybe Smuja is also just comfortable behind Brems. Maybe that's the case. I mean, just. these cameras here are so confusing. Who are we looking at? We're looking at Simon Bragg, right? That's Simon Bragg, okay. Let's see if the other camera is a bit better, but I do not believe it. Yeah, generally, I mean, the chances to overtake on Zolder are actually they're not that many. What did I want to say? Wow, it has been a long day, hasn't it? There are not too many chances to overtake on Zolder. I mean, there's basically into the first chicane. The braking zone is possible. Now here into the second chicane, you already come over this little crest that kind of unsettles the car, and the braking zone here also always felt a bit strange to me. And then there's the third option that would be now coming into turn, what is it, 9? Yeah, into turn 9. This almost U-turn. And then there's a fourth opportunity into the last corner, which is this one, and that's it. So otherwise you have to get creative, but these are basically the standard places to overtake. Into T1, I think it's quite seldom. At least I haven't seen it too often. Yeah, Veltman in the pits now. I think Veltman the first one to pit voluntarily. But Veltman should be in P3 still. So Smooja again closing the gap a little bit. Both of them hobbling over the curbs there. And afterwards the gap is bigger again. So the BMW definitely a bit more proficient over the curbs. At least from what the Times say. Not the New York Times, but the Lab Times. Oh. Yeah, that was Van der Kamp there. But Van der Kamp not really moving out of the way, even though there's Whitburn behind him. That has a lot of pressure because he lost a couple of positions earlier due to his crash. How many positions lost to Whitburn has? 14. Oh, yeah, that is. He's taking the position. Like that, yeah. That is Whitburn through for now. Paul Whitburn. Whitburn Senior. If I'm correct, maybe I misunderstood, but I think I'm correct. Let me just check this in the Discord. I don't find the message right now, so I'm just gonna jump back to the race. So Kauvenberg now in the pits. Also, this car looks rather damaged, but I think it is the normal pit stop. So for Brams and Smooja, actually, the pit stops could be a decision. I mean, this is pit stops could be the deciding factor. If I look at the statistics here, the quickest pit standing time that I can see is 32 seconds. Yeah, 32 seconds stopped, and that is Veldman. That is the only one that actually has a normal pit time, because he's also the only one that pitted voluntarily. So that might be interesting to observe. If it's Muja or Brames that go into the pits first. This was now also... No, sorry. Jason Yanis pitting now. Muja with a little mistake there. Yeah, and Simon Bragg is also catching up to Smuja, so sooner or later... Opa. Where did Scavalieri come from? He just disappeared on my race control for a second. Oh, there's blue flag cars in between as well. Ah, there was Pavlovic there. Yeah, the cameras are definitely wild on Zolder. But Brahms still, since at least 10 laps without mistake, so solid driving there. I mean, I'm not sure how much Smuja can actually catch up. In the last lap he made a little mistake, but their best times are... Yeah, Smuja's best time is not even a tenth. Though not even a tenth quicker than Brahms' best time. So I'm not sure if that is entirely due to the car that is blocking his way. One always thinks that it's the front car that is really struggling to defend, but actually in this case it might be the back car that is struggling to keep up. Go with Muja again for a little bit. Yeah, Brahms with a little bit of gravel there. To me, this always felt very uncomfortable cutting the chicane like this. This chicane and the chicane on Imola, both of them, they tended to drive me crazy a bit. I know the gap is half a second, so... Brahms pitting. Oh, and that threw Smuja off. That threw him off a little bit. So, what we know, Brahms entered the pits half a second before Smuja. There is a drive-through penalty for Covenberg. So after half an hour in the first drive-through due to track limits. Technically, if Smuja can set a couple of quick laps now, that could also solve the position. Where's Brahms? Brahms is standing here. I'll take a look at the standing times. Pit standing times should be roughly about 31 seconds. The Brems should be moving now. Brems with 33 seconds of standing time. So that's already... Did he drive into the wall there, or did he just not repair the car? That might also be the issue there, that his car is damaged, or at least the hood of the front of the car is damaged. I didn't see that before, so I'm not sure if now something went wrong in the... even the pit stops. Wait, let me check this. I know that... Oh, okay, it's already broken there. Okay, it was just this little stepping out of the rear of the car that confused me, so I thought he might just... he might have just bumped into the wall after the pit stops. So, sorry, this is still a 30 seconds replay, because I wanted to see what happened there. But Smuja is not pitting yet. Panosha is pitting now. This could be a position gain for Veltman. Yep, that's a gain position for Veltman. Surprising. So Smuja still out on track. Dario Brems here, the leader of the M drivers. Panosha is in the pits again. No, he's leaving the pits now, but he had to do some repairs because that was over 50 seconds. 50 seconds of damage for Panosha that he repaired. And that puts... that's the reason why Nico Veltman is in P2 of the M drivers, of the pro drivers again. Wow! I did not expect that. So Smuja is in the pits now. And let's see where's the leader of the... Dario Brems here. Out on track. Smuja in the pits. Already standing for 20 seconds. Dario Brems now coming up towards the end. Smuja still in the pits. Smuja with the quickest standing time that I've seen today. And Dario Brems will lose his position, no? That is Smuja exiting the pits. And there we have Brems coming around T1. And that's a position change. Smuja in front. Oi, that was tight. Yeah. Well, tight. Yeah. Brems 5.9 seconds behind Smuja. Let me just see if I can actually figure this out a bit better. Smuja with a quicker pit stop. 3 seconds quicker pit stop. Plus maybe 1 or 2 laps. 1 or 2 quicker laps. So that's the position that changed there for the leaders of the M category. Now there's only 3 drivers left that have not been in the pits. Cavalieri in P1, Zegota in P3, Messina in P4, and then we are this is pit stop cleared. I don't know how to call this in English, honestly. In German we say Boxenstopp bereinigt, which kind of means like, you know, position clarified after the pit stops. So now all the last drivers are in the pits. Yeah, and now we're getting a clear picture. So something that might still happen. So we have Smuja in P1 of the M drivers. Brems, who can actually now... No, Smuja in front can now actually show how quick he can drive. Brems behind him. And we also have Davidson that just led Beasters through into P6. Beasters who, if I'm not mistaken, wait, let's actually focus the camera, do what you want to do, what you should do. Ah, yes, wonderful. There you are. Beasters who, as far as I remember, started somewhat in P20, so P6 is quite a success also so far. Yeah, Scavalieri now coming out of the pits. Got himself a drive-through. So, and then there's also Segota with the drive-through. So we have three. I collected 3 drive-throughs of the drivers until now. Cavalieri also surprising. It's surprising to see him in P4 now, because I kind of lost track of him. But he's in P2 of the M drivers. I lost track of him, and I have no idea where he came from. I mean, he just came from the pits, but it's quite interesting. I mean, now he has a drive-through, so anyways, he's gonna lose. What, about 40 seconds, I think. So he's not gonna stay in P2, but that's frustrating. From his perspective, that's frustrating. From our perspective, that's entertaining. But what frustrates you is entertaining us. And it doesn't sound too good now. Nathan trying to pass Messina in front of the chicane, but then also pulls back. Roughly 20 minutes of driving left. Now looking at the lap times. Uja is quicker than Brems, but only by half a second roughly. Only by half a second, so... Well, I mean, usually half a second is already enough to get an overtake done, but not to really force it. That's bullshit, less than half a second. Hey, Brems is off. Brems is off, and if you would give me a better camera angle, I would be very happy again. So who was this? Brems and Beasters behind. Oh, Beasters tries to avoid it there. Tries to pull towards the outside, but that was a very clear mistake there. So Cavalieri now in the pits to get the drive-through penalty solved. And that puts Davidson into P2 for the M drivers. I don't know if he slipped past Brems now when they had the accident, but it kind of looks like that. So Davidson moved into P2. Let me just check where Davidson started. Yeah, he started in P4 and is now in P2. Uja is back in P1. Just to be clear, because he started in P1 but then lost it. There's also a couple of drivers that I'm missing here. Castelli, for example, also has left the server. So let's hope that Bisters and Brems will not have another contact there. Also, Panosha is making his way back through the grid. What happened to Panosha? He crashed at some point. I don't remember to be certain. Lost 4 positions at some point during the race. Ah, yeah, it was the pit stop. Now I remember. At least 40 seconds. At least 40 seconds of repair. Or like 50 seconds of repair that he had there. Yeah, Panosha is a quick driver. You can see it. Sometimes you can see it very clearly in comparison to the M drivers. Showing himself in the mirror there just for fun or to signal break Simon Bragg that is driving in front. But he should maybe move out of the way as a suggestion. Bisters and Brems together again. Yeah, Panosha just passed Simon Bragg. Now has a 4.7 seconds, 5 seconds gap to Bisters, who he is in a battle with, or in a competition with. So let me just take a look at the lap times here. Yeah, Bisters seems to be stuck. No, in the moment that I say it, Bisters was stuck behind Brems. Oh yeah, and he's through. Okay. So Bisters is losing time due to Brems being in the way, which just sometimes happens when two classes race each other on the same circuit. But that will actually give Panosha, or that gave Panosha a chance to close the gap. That is now 3.7 seconds towards another counting position. Conti, this is something that I also jinxed earlier when I said that the curbs into the Kleine Schikane might be a bit problematic. Sometimes they are. We also don't know if it is just the suspension system of Assetto Corsa. Am I dropping frames? Just in case. Let me know if there is an issue with the stream, because my internet seemed to just drop a little bit a second ago. Yeah, Paul Whitburn also now back in P12, gaining back at least some of the positions that he lost due to the crash there. Yeah, Panosha is definitely catching up. Panosha last lap with a 1 minute 27.7. No, that was not the last lap. Panosha last lap with a 1 minute 28, and Bisters in P5 with a 1 minute 30. So in roughly 2 laps, in roughly 2 laps, we should already see the battle for P3 in the Pro Driver category. So Brems here still in front with a damaged car. Panosha's closing the gap towards P5/P3 of the Pro category. Now let's see if there will be any issues. I hope not. Just for the sake of clean racing situations here. Yeah, I think that is already gonna be enough speed difference so Panosha can pass. No, that was not enough to pass. Panosha also with an invalid lap this time, so not sure how many warnings he's already on. I'm just saying this to build some tension. I have absolutely no clue. I just saw that the lap is invalid. Yeah, it looks like we will definitely see the battle between 4P3 within the next 10 minutes here. Yeah, and that is Brahms with a mistake and Panosha finally through. And now just compare the lap times for second. Beasters half a second slower, 1 second of a gap. My prediction is Panosha is going to be there within 2 laps. Logically, obviously. You smart, yeah, you mathematician. 1 second gap, half a second slower. Obviously, it's gonna take 2 laps. Chairlook, is it you? Maybe it takes only 1 lap. Oh, okay. As one of the corners. Oh, who got it? Simon Bragg now also with a drive-through. So the P. Hoppa. And that's how quick it goes. Wait, let me just jump back here because I really wanted to see that amazing battle for P3 that I've been talking about for like 5 minutes. And it's just not happening. Beaster is late on the break and Panosha is through. Well. Oh, what a fun time. 9 more minutes to go. Simon Bragg with a drive-through that is already... He is also serving right now. Now Dario Brems now P3. Davidson, P2 of the pro drivers, is off and I don't even see where he is. So that is Davidson here in the McLaren, the white one there, and obviously jumping the curbs. We've seen it a couple of times here. It's also a very common occurrence on Zolder. Especially in this game, what you see on Zolder is cameras that are showing nothing, or panning for no reason, or not panning for no reason, and jumping and flying cars. But actually Davidson still maintained his track position, so Smuja in P1, Brems in P2, and Davidson in P3. No, he did not maintain his track position. He lost 1 position due to his stunt. The stunt he showed there in the first chicane. I will just grab a little bit of water and I will be back in literally 2 minutes, 1 minute, something like that. Alright, I'm back. Did anything happen? I don't think so, no? No changes? Nope. Alright. Now the closest gap is actually not with Ryman and Giannis in the front. It's here with Kuipers and Degota. Messina with a drive-through. Kuipers rapidly catching up, at least from what it looks like here, to Degota and the Nissan. Both of them not actually jumping or cutting the chicane, which is very conservative, but I think the lap times do also show that. Five minutes left for this race. Race number 6, right? No, race number 5. But Division 4 of Masters of Assetto Corsa Competizione, sponsored by SimGrid Racing and hosted by Formula Racing League. Yeah, now this is Messina going into the pits. And that's another position gain for Degota and Kuipers. Let's see, maybe. That gap is also not small enough to go for an attack. Both of them cutting the first corner in the chicane, but not the second one. I think that's at least a second that they leave there. But yeah, it takes a lot of practice to cut this chicane, and then, you know, once in every 20 laps it goes wrong and you crash the car. So you really need to be super consistent there. Oh, who was that? Messina. That was Messina just coming back from his drive-through. Slotted himself in behind them. Yeah, but still. Messina now actually putting pressure on Kuipers. Three more minutes to go. That should be roughly, I think it's 2 or 3 laps. It should be 3 laps because Ivanov, who is still, by the way, if I haven't mentioned for a long time, who is still in P1 now with a gap of 45 seconds to Veltman. Behind Veltman in the pro category is Panosha, and behind him is Bisters. Paul Whitburn is in P5 of the pro drivers, Biswas in P6. And just for the amateur drivers, we have Smuja in P3, Brems in Smuja in P1, Brems in P2, Davidson in P3, and Conti in P4. Now, something that I just wanted to mention is that Brems is already driving the whole hour, almost the whole hour, with a broken car in the front, and now also seems to be struggling a little bit. And the white and orange McLaren that is showing up there in the rear view mirror of Brems is Davidson, and that is a battle for P2 in the M category. Graham's in the moment sandwiched between Davidson. Davidson is sandwiched in between Brems and Van Kouwenberg. Yeah, there we are. Both of the drivers with the same livery here on track. Messina with the yellow flag. Let's see what happened there. Maybe a bit too ambitious on the... Oh, well, I'm not sure if that wasn't a bit of blocking. Who am I to judge? But I think that was a bit of a...
Right, man, neither is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
Was a bit of a aggressive defensive move there by Kuipers. And we also have Simon Bragg off. And I'm not sure if that was an incident here. Yeah, I think he just didn't see him or didn't leave enough space, so that is Whitburn through, but Whitburn could still maintain his track position. P5. So, and yeah, that was Davidson also passing through. So Davidson now in P2, Brems in P3 for the M category. Brems holding on to his dear life with a broken car now for the whole race. The leader is on a final lap. For some reason, my game kind of reset all the sounds. Now suddenly I have a spotter again telling me what's happening in ACC, which I'm not used to since a long time. Taking a look at Raymond here. I also don't think that is going to be enough. So that seems to be almost the end of the race. Ivanov has laid back and relaxed a little bit in the last laps. The last lap is only 1 minute 30, and compared to his best lap of 1 minute 27, that seems to be a bit of a laid back driving style from Ivanov here. But if you're leading the race for almost for the entire hour, then maybe after 50 minutes you can lean back and just bring it home safely. So that is the leader Ivanov now crossing the finish line. Congratulations for winning this race. Then we have some other drivers that are Davidson and Brems now also passed the start finish line. These are P2 and 3 of the M drivers. Then P2 Nico Veldman. For the pro drivers, also very good result for Veldman again. Then there is Veldman now over the line. Smuja now also coming in, the winner of the M drivers. So Smuja, also congratulations for the win here. Then Panosha, P3 of the pro drivers, and then Beasters P5. Well, I think that concludes this race now. There's Veldman still rolling on track. Thank you everybody for tuning in again, and see you next week on I think it's let me just check on what track we will be again next week. Sorry, 1 second. yeah, next week, 45 minutes on Spa. And we'll hear each other there. Have a nice week and see you next week. Bye bye.